Okay, let's go back over Oshun being the first spicy worker and as well as Oshun being the wetness of the coochie. I answered this question last year. What I'm realizing now is that we all get the hooting and hollering, jumping at each other, making assumptions because we did not see that somebody explained it. We're not keeping up with videos, and you know what? That's okay. Because do I expect all of y'all to just go through all my videos? No, I don't. So I'm going to start making playlists at the top of my page. Now, to the men who were upset at the fact that I shared something I learned, because essentially anytime we share anything about the Orisha or any other deity, it's because we learned it from someone else. Okay, to the men who were upset because I said, hey, turns out Oshun was a spicy worker. Hey, I just learned Oshun was the first spicy worker. Hey, Oshun is considered the wetness of the coochie. Okay, the sacral chakra Orisha, if you want to call it that. Okay, to the men that were upset about that, the straight, non-queer men, kiss my ass. Now, to the women who were really angry at that, I will answer. Two different groups of people have expressed this to me over years, and it took me some time to get up and actually say it because I said, bitch is about to be mad, okay? The first group of people that taught me that were Cuban in the religion of Santeria. Okay? Now, I don't know if you all felt like, ooh, because some of you all were dedicated to whorephobia. Some of you all were dedicated to misogyny. And with that, I knew, me telling you where I learned it from, it wasn't going to matter because you're angry, not about Oshun really. You're angry about what women do with their bodies. Okay. So if that's where you are mentally, where you don't even like when a woman does what she wants with her coochie, it didn't matter where I got the information from because you wasn't going to hear it anyway because you're promoting directly against it. Okay. So if you're misogynistic, if you like patriarchy, you're not going to hear nothing I got to say. You're going to hate everything I post about. Now, the other group of people that have come to me with this are also Yoruba people. I don't know what y'all are going to do with that information because other than be like, oh, you're not initiated. For me, I was born initiated. And I am so sorry that for some of you all carry this anger about that. This argument about initiation processes. I'm not even angry at people for deciding that they want to take the traditional route. I can't comprehend, finding money that doesn't exist. Let me tell you all something. With the arguments of initiation processes and working with Orisha or the Lawa, there are people that turn to spicy work in order to pay for initiation. And a lot of these people come to me because I own a store that is a safe space for spicy workers. What does that mean? I'm not telling you all that you have to be spicy workers. It's more like a safe space for women, but you all confuse that every time. If I said that my store is a safe space for femininity, a lot of you all would think that it doesn't include trans women, and it does. A lot of you all would think it doesn't include dark-skinned women. It does. A lot of you all still, you claim that you love women. You claim, oh, I support my sisters. But then you cancel out so many different collectives of women, and I don't do that. So essentially my store is a safe space for women, for femininity, okay? Because I don't close my doors to feminine men. But a lot of you all don't understand that. So I say Spiritual Development Center for Sirens, meaning, okay, liberation of our bodies, claiming, autonomy over our bodies, meaning I do what I want with my coochie and bitch, keep my coochie out your mouth. Like that's what I stand for. Some of my clients are, they have cosmic wands. Okay. But I'm promoting against patriarchy and against misogyny. A lot of you all have confused so many things. So I'm going to keep repeating myself because it's a part of my mission. But yes, guys, that's who taught me those two things. You all want me to start like quoting people and like giving you all names. That I will not partake in because it reminds me of the church where everybody is arguing with like quoting the Bible, but it's like you can memorize as many Yoruba words as you want. That don't make you Yoruba. Or you can take flights to Africa. That don't make you African. That don't mean that you're valid, working with African spirits. So I will not be doing the ego battling where you all want to quote people and quote stories. And no, I'm just simply telling you that for a lot of Cuban tradition with Santeria, they do teach and pass down that story that Oshun was the first spicy worker. They don't say spicy work. I just censor my words on these apps, okay? There are also Yoruba people who do believe in the same thing. Also being that Oshun was the first spicy worker, but the wetness of the coochie, okay? So the same way where you'll hear people say Yemoja is the amniotic fluid, the blood, the tears, the saliva, the urine, people claim that Oshun is the wetness of the coochie. When you're happy, you know, when you're turned on. Okay. Now, the death threats, because of different pieces of information, that's where I know a lot of you all are just misogynistic. A lot of you all are just angry at the idea of a woman being liberated, at the idea of somebody just simply doing what they want with their body. Now, if you're angry about spicy workers and you've never been a spicy worker, I quite literally, I do not care how you feel. I'm hoping that one day you relocate yourself instead of worrying about everybody else, okay? A lot of you all are in drought mentally, emotionally, financially, because you do not respond to your desires, because you've allowed a systematic, you've allowed patriarchy to convince you that your coochie is a criminal. A lot of you all have allowed, systematic oppression to convince you that your coochie is a crime. So you don't touch yourself and you don't let anybody else touch you. And then you think that you can, condemn everybody else and tell them who they are. And you don't even realize who you are, because sacral chakra is supposed to be ruled by water, but a lot of you all have dried it up. You will not engage with your coochie. You don't even like talking about your coochie. A lot of you all, just because you're over here trying to control somebody else's coochie, that is called colonization. So hopefully this answers up a lot of things for people. And then, some of you all are going to say, oh, well, why do you listen to Cubans? Okay, well, why do y'all listen to a biracial bitch? Because a lot of y'all are still up hooting and hollering behind a biracial lady who might not have been raised with her black side of the family. But y'all letting her just tell you any old fucking thing about, black spiritual practices. All right, so those are the two groups of people. Actual Yoruba people, and then Cubans who work with the religion of Santeria. They do strongly feel, and they pass down that story of Oshun being the first spicy worker. Now, if you really just want to do your research and go find the specific story, okay, then go do that. All right, then go do that. I think a lot of you all, what you need to realize with the internet, social media, we are finally learning many different things that many different people claim around the world. And some of you all are having a hard time processing that somebody has learned something different than you. Spirituality is not a simple math equation. There is no one way to reach a deity. There is no one way to cast a spell. A lot of you all are trying to force everyone into alignment with what you've been taught, and that's never going to happen. Okay? We got to rebrand and figure out a different way to make spiritual content, instead of getting up and everything you do, you always stitching somebody trying to, that's not true. Sometimes all of the information is true or none of it's true. Like, please, good God, stop panicking. I think the root of you all's anger when I said that Orisha Oshun was the first spicy worker, I think the root of you all's anger is misogyny. Because y'all love to brag about Shango and his Shango stick and what he used. I hear some of y'all. Y'all be bragging about Shango and how he wooed it. If we were talking about a man or masculinity, I feel like there would be a different response to, a man doing what he wants with his Shango stick. But then we get to talking about Oshun and you're like, she did not. A lot of you all are panicking because you actually just don't like women, because you don't like yourself, because you've limited yourself. Water is expansive. There is no real bottom to the ocean. Water is not some closed-legged conservative. And Oshun is water. So at the basic of who a water deity is, that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. So you don't have to be a hoe. You don't got to be a spicy worker. But you do have to be in tune with your body. You do have to feel proud of your desires. You got to stop looking at desire as if it's demonic or something.